Good evening and welcome back to another episode of We Don't Miss. You can't see it behind me right now because it's dark outside, but we're in beautiful Cancun, Mexico, hanging out at the beach, getting some workouts in, and at an all inclusive resort, meaning we're getting some great food in, and it's just a wonderful place to be. I'm here for an event for the next couple days. I'm at a wedding, and the cat's out of the bag. My family knows, my friends know. I'm putting it out there that I'm trying to help people out with fitness and get into the personal training space. And one thing that I hear from people when I strike up a casual conversation, when we start talking about fitness, is they always talk about where they dropped off, or they talked about, oh, I used to be fit, or I used to work out, or I used to play sports, and then life got in the way. And look, I get that. I totally get that being a 41-year-old family man with great daughters, happily married. And there's a lot on the plate. There's school, there's events, there's activities, there's your regular job, there's all the responsibilities that you have. But I just want to talk about shifting mind frame real quick, which is when people tell me this is how I used to work out or I used to be fit, I always like to reframe that and say, well, how do you want to be in the future? Because for some reason, people act like their past self disappeared and it's no longer there. Like you can't achieve it anymore. And let's talk about that from two aspects. One aspect is from a mental motivation time horizon aspect, which is I'm past my prime. I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm not in my 20s. I'm not a young man or woman anymore, and there's no way to get back to where I was, which couldn't be more false. And then the other aspect that people think of is, well, my best years are behind me. I have too much on my plate in the future. And so I'm never going to be able to make time or never get past what my peak used to be, which is also false. So that's good news from both aspects. And I can tell you that those aren't true because let's talk about science real quick. When you're 30 years old, at the age of 30, your muscle mass tends to decrease from 3 to 8% about every decade. So if you're in your mid 30s and approaching 40 and you're thinking, wow, my best years are behind me, I just physiologically can't achieve the results that I used to have. Put that into quantifiable data. You're only 3%, 5%, at a max 8% behind where you used to be a decade ago. In that 3 to 8% spectrum, that 8% is probably based on somebody that lives a sedentary lifestyle. 3% is probably somebody that's just maintaining their lifestyle. But that doesn't mean that if you really ramp it up into your 40s that you can't achieve great success. Looking at it from the non-scientific point of view, which is probably what most of us want to do, and say, hey, I'm too busy. I'm getting old. I'm just not feeling as motivated. And real quick, let me get back to the science part. Testosterone levels for males. So I talked about muscle mass being at your age of 30. Your testosterone levels don't really start to significantly decrease for males until about the age of 40. So if you're still in your late 20s or mid 30s as a male and think that your testosterone levels have just gone rock bottom and your muscle mass is just falling off, that's nonsense. That's not true. Just Google it. Like, I'm not making this data up. I'm not a doctor, but I mean, I looked it up and that's what I use to motivate myself. So what are we really talking about here? What we're talking about is most people saying, hey, I've fallen off and I'm too far away. I'm too distant from the best version of myself that I ever achieved. And the reason that I was the best version of myself is because that's all I had to do was work on being the best version of myself. So I had time to go to the gym, I had time to eat healthy, and now I have kids and now I have a job and all this stuff is getting in the way. So this is a multifaceted problem, but the main part of the underlying problem is people not telling the truth to themselves, which the truth is that if you think that you are not capable of achieving the best version of yourself in your late 30s, 40s, or 50s, that couldn't be farther from the truth. And that's great news. Now, I have a caveat with that, which is the caveat on the female side of the house. If you are a woman and had a child, that's not easy on your body. And I don't want to be the person that says, hey, you should have a kid, be a full time mom, and your whole life change. And then if you're not super fit within 6 months, then you're not trying hard enough, because that is absolute nonsense. And I can talk about that firsthand from my wife who had children, and I did not know until that happened how difficult that is on your body and how difficult it is on your sleep and biological time clock. And there's a whole bunch of hurdles to overcome there that males will never have to overcome. So, that being said, however, I want to, as I've told you before, I'm an optimist, and I am only here to make you feel good about yourself and make you feel motivated and find the program that's right for you. So if you're male or female and in your what you consider your later years, which might be your 40s or 50s, I encourage you to not just think that you can go to the gym and knock out some push-ups and pull-ups. And I encourage you to take a more scientific approach and go to your doctor and ask for a health and wellness check, or go see a physiologist or a sports medicine doctor that can talk to you about things such as testosterone levels, and see if that there's anything that's out of whack with your body that might not be helping you get to your goals. Um, and so I just want to wrap it up by saying this. It seems that most people that I talk to, unfortunately, because I said in the first video, this is not a fitness channel. This is mindset and motivation. So from a mindset and motivation point of view, if you're already talking to myself or another personal trainer or anybody else about fitness, and you already kind of have this woe is me approach that my best years are behind me and you are not 60, well, then you've already kind of given up mentally. The way that you need to approach that is, my best years are ahead of me for the next decade or two. And all I need to do is find the appropriate resources and the right methodology that works for my body, including workouts and including nutrition, and make sure that not only are you supporting yourself, but you're hanging out with people that are a supportive network for you and achieving that goal, and letting you know that this is not the end of the road. So I'm going to make a couple more videos from Cancun. Next time the sunlight's going to be out, you're going to see some awesome views. And I just want you to get in the gym and crush it. I want you to get in the kitchen and make the best meals that you can, and really take full stock of what you're trying to achieve. See you next time.